Greetings guys, girls, non-binary pals, and welcome back to another video. I forgot to take my meds, so I'm gonna go do that real quick. Please hold. I've returned from taking my pills. Let's see if between now and the end of this video, there is a difference between how I am speaking, because this is a social experiment now, all right? Let's see how it goes. A few days ago, I was on TikTok, and I'm very behind on everything happening on TikTok because I go through phases of like, I don't open TikTok for literally months, and then Kat will send me one TikTok, and then I am using TikTok for hours every day for like a few weeks, and then I get bored again and I don't use it for a few months. And it's like a cycle. So I'm very behind and everything that happens. So anyway, a few days ago, I was on TikTok and I came across this one TikTok that was a toxic boy mom. Specifically, it was someone responding to said toxic boy mom. And I watched this video and I was like, oh my God, wow, I need to talk about this. So that is what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to be talking about toxic boy moms because it is seemingly a relatively large issue and they say and do some stuff that really needs some unpacking. So we are going to unpack that together. Before I get into it, I do want to say thank you to today's patron of the day, Eldo. I appreciate all of your support, so thank you, and I hope that you enjoy this video. If anyone would like to become a patron, you go to patreon.com/savvycat. It starts as little as £1 per month, and I appreciate it hugely. If you want to hear more about it, then stick around until the end. So let's move into the video. If you don't know what a toxic boy mom is, basically it is a mother of a boy. They are specifically just very strange about their love for their son, and it is very rooted in like misogyny, and it shows itself in ways such as favoritism of your sons over your daughters. There's also a weird amount of like emotional incest, and there's just a lot of like misogyny that comes out, and it is very, very interesting and very uncomfortable and disturbing to watch. And so there's a lot to talk about, there's a lot to unpack, and I want to go over a few good examples of this that I found on TikTok. So the first TikTok we're gonna watch is the TikTok that started this. It's one that like went around a few months ago, I think, so a lot of you might have already seen this. I want to say thank you to Cass Jerome because she's the one who put it on my For You page, and she made a very good TikTok about it. I'm gonna also be talking about this TikTok, and then I'm gonna veer off, talk about some others. For context, this is a mother of 4. She has 3 daughters and 1 son who is the youngest, and their ages are 3, 4, 8, and 10, I believe. So let's watch this fun little TikTok.
I never thought that I would be that toxic boy mom. I love my 4 kids equally, but that last little boy just hits different. And now I feel like I'm having this existential crisis. Before I wouldn't be that mom, that toxic boy mom. He hits his sisters, he punches them. I'm like, maybe he's having a hard day. So when I think about my daughters getting married, I get excited, right? Think about their dresses, planning their weddings. When I think about my son's wedding, I want to cry. Boy mums, we've got to step up. We got to realize that we are the problem.
Obviously, there is a magnitude of things wrong with everything she just said. We'll go in order of picking this apart, all right? So we start with, obviously, that last little boy just hits different, which is just overall a weird thing to say. I don't have favorites, but you do have a favorite. You can't say I don't have favorites and follow it up with a but. That's just called I have a favorite. You can't take away the like guilt and shame of having a favorite child. We then move into the worst part of the TikTok, which is he hits and punches his sister, but I think, you know, maybe he's just had a hard day. I'm sorry, what? What? Is this what you mean by he hits different? Because he like actually hits people? You shouldn't be encouraging that, even if you're not encouraging it, you definitely shouldn't be just like brushing it off. What the fuck? What the fuck? Do you realize how fucked up it is to like see your son hitting your daughters and being like, oh, maybe he's just had a hard day. He is 3 years old. Firstly, you should know whether or not he's had a hard day because you should be the one who's like, you know, mainly overall monitoring that. And if he has had a hard day, it is your job as his mother to talk him through that, help him figure out why he had a bad day, and find some healthy ways to get through that and feel better. Get that out of his system and feel better and make his day better. And you don't do that by hitting people. What about your daughter's days? Why are they less important? Because I can guarantee being hit by their brother, it's gonna put a bit of a damper on their day, especially if their mother doesn't care and allows it to happen and effectively is like, you know, it makes sense for him to hit you. He's had a bad day. You should let him hit you. What? You have to understand here that you are raising adults, like they're children now, but you are shaping them into adults. And through this, you are teaching 2 lessons here, one to your son and one to your daughters. You are teaching your son that if you have had a hard day, it's okay to hit women. You can take your anger out on these girls. If you've had a hard day, yeah, it's fine to hit them. I understand you have some pent up emotions. This is a good way to take it out. And like, they can just deal with it, you know? It's their responsibility to let you take out your anger however you wish to. And in doing that, you are teaching your daughters that it is normal and okay for men to hit them if they have a hard day. That's a justification for men hitting you, is they're feeling a little bit emotional and this is how they express that. It doesn't mean they don't love you. It doesn't mean that, like, you know, they're a bad person or that they're mean or anything like that. This is just them expressing themselves and like, you have to deal with it. Just let him do it. He's had a bad day. And like, I know that they're children now and you might not see it that way, but that is what you are teaching them. That is what you are teaching them. Surely you can understand how fucked up that is. It's not your son's fault that that is how he is taking out his anger, because he's done it obviously a couple of times and you've coddled him. You've told him it's okay. You've enforced that he can do that. So he's going to keep doing that because there's no consequences. There's no repercussions. You haven't told him that it's wrong. So him, if he grows up being violent, that is on you. If your daughters grow up and accept violence from people, that is on you for telling them that it is okay for people to be violent towards them for no reason, really. Just because they've had a bad day, so it's okay. A 3-year-old hitting an 11-year-old, sure, isn't gonna really hurt them, but how you, an adult, responds to the situation is what teaches them what is and isn't okay. It's your responsibility to protect, love, and nurture your children, and that means raising them into kind, caring, respectful adults. And you aren't doing that. Going into the next thing that she said of, when I think of my daughters getting married, I get really excited and happy about picking out their dresses and doing their hair and their makeup, etc. But when I think about my son getting married, I want to cry. Now, this is already weird because I think it's weird to think about your children's weddings when they're still children. Why are you thinking about that? It's really strange. I don't get it at all. But like, that aside, it's weird that someone else loving your son makes you feel sad. You should want your children to be loved and you should want your children to be happy. And if you're like very happy to give your daughters away, but like really upset to give your son away, there's a lot of questions to be asked there, and this is where we like verge onto the like emotional incest that so many of these boy moms display so much of. She has a bunch of TikToks about her son being her favorite, and one of them that like verges on this emotional incest sort of thing is this one. When you get replaced by your mini-me, so you make a mini him. And it is her husband holding their daughter, and then she picks up their son. And so this is weird. I've always found this weird. I've talked about it in my like Are the Straights Okay videos a couple times of like people viewing their children as like competition for their partner's attention. It's really, really weird referring to your child as like it's a mini version of my husband, so I'm happy I don't need my husband kind of thing. Really odd, because you shouldn't be thinking of your child in the same way you think of your partner. Those should be two different forms of love and affection, obviously. And it's like you can't replace your partner with a child. Those aren't interchangeable things. You can give more of your attention to your child, but saying that you've like replaced your partner with your child has really weird implications that I don't think people think about when they say it. But like having this competitiveness between like children and parents is just such a weird dynamic. It should just be a different type of love, and it should just be a full family dynamic. I don't understand why you would be jealous of your husband spending more time with your daughter. I don't get that at all. That should be expected, you know? Like, your husband should spend a lot of time with his daughters, and you should also spend a lot of time with your daughters. There should be, like, mutual effort and time spent with your children. And it's weird that you think in order to compete with your husband, you need to have a son to make him jealous. Don't have kids to make each other jealous. I don't care if it's a joke. It's not a very funny joke. You shouldn't be using your children to make your partner jealous. Really, really odd behavior. In this same sort of area of emotional incest, there is a sound that is really popular with boy moms is Enchanted by Taylor Swift and Happy by Olivia Rodrigo, which obviously is quite strange. Like we have like these. There's multiple of these that exist. I'm gonna have to sing here because I don't want to get copyrighted. And I've been copyrighted for singing before, but like, hopefully I won't be. All right, please ignore that I haven't warmed up my voice or anything. Please don't be in love with someone else. Probably gives you butterflies. I hope you're happy, but not like how you were with me. I'm selfish, I know, but I can't let you go. So find someone great, but don't find no one better. I hope you're happy. And so obviously, this is a little bit of a problematic trend. And like, are they joking? Perhaps, maybe. I don't really think it's that funny, and I don't really think they're entirely joking. The fear of having your son, like, stolen from you is so strange. Because, like, again, it's a very different type of love. You shouldn't be jealous of that type of love for your son. You should, like, not want that for him. But like, if that's something that he desires, then you should be happy, you know? You should want that for them. You should want them to feel love from so many people. You should want people to love them. You should want them to love people. You should want the world to love them. And that should make you feel happy. You know, like your job as a parent is to make your child happy and is to raise them to be good people who are loved and who give love and who are happy. That's your job. And it's really weird that you feel like you have to compete with people for the love and affection and attention from your son, because there are different types of love and there are different types of affection, and you should not be jealous of like romantic affection that your son receives and gives, because you should not be craving that love. That's not for you, and that's not something you should be even remotely jealous of. And you shouldn't be telling your son that like, no one will love you like me. No one will love you as much as I do, because what? That's just emotional abuse at that point. That's just so weird. Because again, Like, no one will ever love your son like you do. Absolutely not. And I'm not going to take that away from you. No one is going to love your child in the same way you love your child. And that is because no one else is their mother. And no one else should have that position of acting as their mother. That's not what a partner is. And it's so fucking weird because so many of the moms like this are so protective of their sons that they only want to like give them away to people who do act as a secondary mother. They're like, you need to, if you're going to date, if you're going to get married, you have to have someone who will look after you and do all the things that I do for you. Why are you encouraging them to want to be in a romantic relationship with someone who like acts as their mother? It's weird. It's really, really weird. And it does feel a lot like projecting. It does feel a lot like, well, I can't have you like that. So I want someone who is like me to have you like that so I can like live through that. You know, that's how it comes across. That's how it feels. And it's really, really, really weird and concerning. Teach your child to have love and accept good love and also to respect people and be independent. It goes into like, there are so many videos like this one. Someone holding their baby boy and it says, reasons I love being a boy mom. I'll be his first true love. And that's the only thing it says. So it's not even reasons, it's just reason. The one and only reason she is happy to be the mother to a boy is that she gets to be his first love. And there are so many TikToks like this that say this, and it's so weird because like, I guess, but what about their other parent? You know, like this is what's so strange about it. It's the separation of like daughters and sons of like, why are you as his mother, his first love, and not his father? And why is that the opposite when you have a daughter? Why are you enforcing this like heteronormativity onto your children, but not even in the sense of like, you know, talking about them in a weird way between two babies and having like a boy baby and a girl baby being like, oh, they have a crush on each other, because that's also weird. But like when you're extending heteronormativity into I am my son's first love, it's really strange. It's so strange. Like if you say that for your daughter as well, it's like slightly less weird in the sense that you're not making it into this weird like almost like implied romantic sort of thing. Like, yeah, you are his first love, I guess, but so is like any of your other children, because surely their siblings should love them and their father should love them. They should be surrounded by love. Why are you instantly being like, I am the love of your life. It is me, my child, my son. Not my daughter, though. Not my daughter. My son. Like, what? Oh my God. And they extend out into like these as well.
They say if God gave you a son, it's because you needed to know what true love feels like. I must have needed extra love. God blessed me with 3 wonderful sons.
What do you mean? What do you mean? God gave you sons so you knew what true love would feel like. What? Like, yeah, the love you have for your children should be like no other. I absolutely agree. There should be like no one in the world you love more than your children. That I 1000% get is like an unmatched form of love. Very different to any other type of love. But why? Why is that exclusively for your sons? Why is that reserved for them? What about your daughters? Why did God give you daughters? Is it not to give them love? Is it not to feel love? Is it for something else? Like this has the same sort of vibes as like you should have children because if you don't, who will look after you in your old age? Like, you should not have children for the purpose of you being able to experience love. That's a very selfish motive to have children. Like, yes, I hope that your children love you, but that's not their purpose. They don't owe you love, you know? Like, you can hope for love in return for the love that you give them, but they don't owe you that. Like, your kids should make you happy and proud, and they should make you full of love, and you should want to give your child the world. I 1000% agree, and I don't want to take that away, but the purpose of having children shouldn't be to fluff your ego and make you feel love. The purpose of having children is that you want to extend the love that you have. You want to give your love to more people. You want to bring more love into the world, and you want to help, you know, build a life for someone, with someone. But again, this leads me to the question of, like, if sons exist to make mothers feel love, and that is their purpose, what the fuck do daughters exist for, you know? Why is that different? Why do daughters not exist to feel love and be loved? And they actually do have an answer for that, and you're not ready for it.
If your first child was a girl, it's because you needed to know it's time to do things differently. She's watching you. And if it was a boy, it means God knew it was time for you to be loved like no other, to show you what true love is.
So this is obviously extremely fucked up and misogynistic straight off the fucking bat. Like, what do you mean? Your daughters exist so that they can watch you and learn. So you have to be cautious and change who you are and become a better person so that your daughters have a good role model. Whereas your sons, they just exist to love you. There's no expectations on them. Your sons can do whatever they want as long as you love them and they love you. That's all. Why? Why? Oh my god, this is such the, like, boys will be boys mentality straight from the get-go of, like, you are expecting your daughter to be good, and you are expecting your daughter to spend her entire life, literally from before even being born, like, watching you and learning from you and being a good person, where you don't have that expectation from your son at all. That's not what sons do. Sons don't watch and learn. Sons just do whatever the fuck they want, and I love them all the same. Coddling your sons and the whole boys will be boys mentality is so unhelpful and so dangerous. And then expecting your daughters to be able to set boundaries and, you know, take responsibility on at such a young age because they should know better and such is, like, so harmful and so damaging, especially if you have both. If you have a son and a daughter and you are visibly, obviously raising them very differently with very different standards and expectations, that is going to hurt both people. It is going to allow your sons to know that they can do whatever the fuck they want and they will get away with much more than your daughters. It'll teach boys that they can get away with more than girls. They can hurt girls. They can do whatever and they'll be fine. And it's teaching these girls that boys can get away with doing whatever. They don't have to be as cautious. They can do whatever they want and they're going to get further in life and they're going to get better treatment despite being worse people. You know, raise your children the same. Give them the same amount of love. Give them the same amount of attention. Don't do things differently. It's all about social conditioning, and you are putting misogyny straight into your household for no goddamn fucking reason. Balance is so important. Equal responsibility is so important. Boundaries are important. Talking and communication with all of your children is important. Filling emotional needs is important. Don't put expectations onto your children at such a young age. Don't expect them to do things for you because your kids don't owe you shit. You owe your kids everything and they owe you nothing. Before wrapping up, I want to go back to the First Lady because after getting all the backlash for her initial TikTok, she made a few more TikToks about favoritism. And I just wanted to watch them because, you know, instead of taking on board the criticism, she decided to make a few jokes because she thinks it's really funny that she favorites her son. So we're gonna watch a couple of those. As POV, you're a toxic boy mom, and she has like a bowl of sweets, and she pushes her daughters to one side and gives her son the sweets because that's hilarious. And then we have this one. When you try to pick on your little bro but forget he's mom's favorite.
You're excused. And I'm not your bro.
And then finally, we have this one.
Getting rid of my girls for the weekend so I have the fave child all to myself.
where basically she like ships her daughters off to like a friend's house or something, I don't know, and has her son for the weekend, which is so funny. Ha 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 ha. Ha ha, this isn't going to be emotionally damaging for your daughters and your son at all, especially not if one day in the future they find these TikToks. One of them is 10 or 11, so I'm sure that they'll be on TikTok soon enough, and they will find these TikToks, and although you make your favoritism very obvious and you play it off as a joke, it's not a joke to them, and they're going to be feeling that, and they're going to be internalizing that, and they're going to hold resentment towards you and also their brother. It is going to impact them. It is presently impacting them, whether you want to acknowledge that or not, whether you think it's this funny, lighthearted joke or not. Children pick up on these things. Children are very, very emotionally in tune, and they are in really fundamental times in terms of their development, and everything you do right now impacts them greatly in the future. I am someone who personally, like, I have a lot of emotional shit. I am a very damaged person. It's an excellent example of, like, you know, emotional needs not being met as a child, or the way your parents act are greatly impacting your future. And I am someone who ended up in an abusive relationship as a teenager because, you know, things that I learned as a child. Because the way you see things and the way you receive things and the world around you and the way people express their emotions and the way people love you and treat people around you and favoritism, etc., all of that impacts you as a person. And you have to be teaching your girls that they are of equal value to boys. And you have to be teaching your sons that they are of equal value to girls. That's the bare fucking minimum you can do. Same consequences for actions, same emotional regulation, same freedom. Make sure that they don't continue misogyny into their lives, and you are instilling misogyny into your children. You should be raising your children to be loved and to give love and to be wanting to help people, not hurt people. And you should be raising them to not accept being hurt. And this mom in particular, it's really frustrating because she does a lot of really cool stuff as a mother. Like, one thing I find really cool of her is that she had an eating disorder, and so she is teaching her children intuitive eating. And she has really, really good, like, parenting style around, like, food and healthy food dynamics and relationships with your body and such. And that is really, really cool. And I really, really admire that. And that is something that if I had kids, I also would want to do. But it's just completely negated because you take it away by, like, instilling misogyny into your children, you know? And, like, as someone who struggled with an eating disorder because of misogyny in society, you would think that you would have more of an understanding about that, you know? You can't be surprised if your daughters do damaging and dangerous things in order to get your attention, or do damaging and dangerous things because they have learnt that that is acceptable to accept. And you can't be surprised if your son, like, actually goes out into the world and starts hurting people outside of your house, or he starts taking his emotions out on other people because he's learnt that, you know, that's an appropriate thing to do when you have a bad day. Please keep all of this in mind and, like, do better. I know you said in your TikTok you want to do better, and you've acknowledged that it's a problem that you want to fix, but then you went on to make jokes about it, so you obviously didn't really mean that. And at all the other mothers and those toxic boy mums I talked about, I think I covered all of that already. Don't emotionally manipulate your child. Don't equate them to, you know, a lover or a partner. Don't be overbearing and not allow them to experience love and real world things because you hold some sort of weird jealousy and resentment. Raise your children to be independent and good adults. Raise them to want to give love and to be able to accept good love. Raise them to be happy, and that should make you happy. Their love should make you happy. That's what being a parent is. It's giving love and not expecting anything in return. Anyway, I have been filming this for way longer than expected. Oh my god, it's been over an hour. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I got pretty riled up. I get a bit, you know, heated when it comes to this sort of stuff, like parenting and like misogyny. Yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. A massive thank you to my Sprout and Above patrons, whose names are up on the screen right now. And a huge thank you to my Kiwi Cat patrons, Wolf, Toulouse, Bobby, Josh, Mandy, Robbie, Ikazel, Kai, Jessica, Eldo, Ida, Queer Mick McKenna, Anna, Raven, Danielle, Elias, and Evie. I love and appreciate you all so much. Thank you so much for joining. If you would like to become a patron, you can go to patreon.com/savvycat or click the top link in the description. For as little as £1 a month, you get my videos a day early, as well as podcasts a week early. And then for £3 and up, you get things such as outtakes, bonus mini podcast, a monthly live stream, and more. So I appreciate it. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, The Queer Kiwi, and Twitter, That Queer Kiwi. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe. Keep fighting. I love you. Mwah.